like they in India, arts used to be like really big. Like we had storytelling called Harikatha,
Mm-hmm.
Burakatha. These are like stories that people professionally come village to village and tell these mythical stories in a form of a song and a dance, and these are like really big hit. Like I've seen them when I was a kid, but the thing is those people never made any money. They're literally begging. Like they perform and then they go around collecting funds from people.
Yeah.
So that was because of that reason arts were kind of looked down in a way. And and um, and and also other thing is like my grandfather was the first generation out of British occupation. So for him, like he's like either really get people educated, and India also went through a big change as soon as we got the independence.
What year was that?
This is like 1947.
Okay.
But what happened was like during British time, lower caste people were very oppressed, and the division was very high. Like caste division was really
Mm-hmm.
bad. So when India got its independence, Gandhi and Nehru and what they did is they got this guy called Ambedkar, who is from the lower caste, and he's a very well educated, very very intelligent person, and asked him to create Indian constitution, like write Indian constitution. And he heavily borrowed from British and American constitution. And Indian constitution is the biggest constitution in the world. It's all about like civil rights, and out of that there is also one of the things where he's like, for 10 years all the people of lower caste should get 90% or whatever, like reservations for all government jobs and in government schools. So even if they have a lower score, because their living situation was bad, so you can't expect them to compete with someone who's richer.
Yeah.
So they could get into a government school which is free. But the thing is, a lot of us, like I'm considered an upper caste, even though I mean my grandparents are farmers, but I'm considered an upper caste. And these are not like the Hinduism only divides by four castes,
Mm-hmm.
but the society in India is divided by several thousand castes, because people
Really?
people literally like broke into clans. So this is not, it really has nothing to do with religion anymore. This is, and even though I'm considered, for example, I'm considered a Reddy caste, which is considered an upper caste, but there are a lot of people who are also poor within it, because they're all farmers. Like for example, my grandfather, he had a land, so he was rich.
Mm-hmm.
But then when he sold it and he lost it all, you know, moved into city to get education for his kids, and when his kids are ready to go to college, the wall for them is they can't get into good schools because of reservation. You know, and they that when they try to correct one wrong, they created another wrong.
Yeah.
They fixed one problem, and the 10 years which Ambedkar put in now is literally like almost like 80 years. Those things continue because politicians also don't want to approach it, because they don't approach it as a whole, like problem solving. They're always like, okay, if I do this, I might hurt this group of people. If I make this change, I might hurt that group of people. But if I don't make any change, nobody is going to become, like the problem still is there, but since I didn't touch it, I didn't create it, I can't be blamed.
Is that Does
So,
that hurt more people in the long run?
well, it is getting to a point, because what happens is the people that are educated, so the first generation of lower caste people, now most of the administrative positions are held by lower caste people in India, like IAS, IPS, like, Indian Police Service, Indian
Mm-hmm.
Administrative Service, all these service jobs, all these jobs, and a lot of doctors, emerged because of that, which is really good. But now the justification is, if you are already have taken advantage of it and become a doctor, should your son still get this advantage, or should he be competing with everybody else? And 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 if you think about it ethically, he shouldn't, because the generation wealth has been created.
Yeah.
You know he
So
sh-
you're stuck in the caste of your parents or grandparents.
Well, it's because of the system. It's not like I don't even tell my caste anybody. Like, I don't follow it. There is no
Right,
ritual
right.
to follow with it.
But
But
in
because
society,
in society, because the benefits are all associated to your caste, the government's benefits are associated to your caste.
and are you like when you're born, are you you're put in a caste?
Yes, because it's like your last name. Like, you're
Mm-hmm.
born into a family. That is your family. Like, uh, yeah, so it's not like you can get out of. It's like you were born a
You
Mormon.
can't switch castes once you're.
Well, you can switch a religion. There is no such thing as I can't switch. But the thing is, like, I can't say, since I'm born into a Reddy,
Mm-hmm.
I can't go and say, from now on, I'm going to be a lower caste person, give me the benefits. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Like, so the way to approach it is, like, I personally think, is to go by the wealth gap at this point. After 50 years, we have couple of generations took advantage of that program.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel, that is a lot of people, the argument is coming up. But at the same time, there are still places, because India is a huge country. I mean, we have 1 billion people.
Yeah.
And India has only been free for like 70 years. And the way they want to do it is, the inequalities created by caste, they want to get rid of them. And it is working to a point, because now you have lower caste people educated, but we are not still there yet, where we can say all of our lower caste people are uplifted.
Do you think there comes a point when there is no longer a caste system?
If you think about it, in actual religion, there is no longer the caste system, because there was a time during British that upper caste people wouldn't allow lower caste people into the temples. And that kind of shit is all illegal now. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't discriminate someone because of their caste. That is illegal. The funny part is, before British ruled, like, if I look at my ancestral like history, people don't know what caste they are before British. And before British, according to Hindus, there are 4 castes, and they're not based on your birth. They're based on what you do. And there is a story within Mahabharata, where this guy Karna is born as a, even though he's born as a he's born to a Kshatriya woman, but he's given away, and nobody knows what he's born as. But he's brought up as a son of a I think there is like Brahmana, Kshatriya, Sudra. He's brought up as a son of a Sudra, like a fisherman.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a very good archer. And when the princes of the kingdom, they were giving their archery demonstration, he goes and challenges them for a fight, like, for a demonstration, like, I can do better than you guys.
Yeah.
And they say, well, you're not a prince, you can't compete against us. And then one of the princes steps out and he says, listen guys, I am giving him a kingdom of mine, so he is a prince now. So immediately he's allowed to, there was some discussion, but he's allowed to compete. So what does that say? That says that as soon as a Sudra person became a Kshatriya by taking the kingdom, he was able to do what he couldn't do before. And the way it was explained was, because I read a lot,
Yeah.
it was explained is like Brahmins and educators, like pundits, like Brahmins, not Brahmins, like pundits, like educators and priests and doctors, writers, they all come in as Brahmins. And they say, like, they come from Brahma's head, because that's where the brain is. It's not because of which caste you're born. You could be a dumbass, and
Yeah.
but based on what you do. And then there is like Sudras are the people working, and then there is like businessmen, and then there are Kshatriyas, which are kings, and they're the rulers. They come from the shoulders, that shows the strength. And then businessmen, I believe, come from the hands, because they transact, and
Yeah.
and then Sudras come from the feet, because feet do all the work, like leg work.
Mm-hmm.
And the entire society is run by the Sudras, because they are the farmers, they are the workers. And then That is all there was. And then from that later on, the society, you know how societies get fucked up.
Yeah.
People that clean toilets and people that do the dirty work were kind of segregated as untouchables. And it started from the feeling of, like, they were doing the cleaning and I don't want to touch them. That became to a point where if you're born into this this family, I'm not going to touch you. You are considered dirty. And the society pushed it to an extreme point where the upper caste people started feeling like, the thing is, like, if you are born to a Brahmin, like if you're born to a educator, chances are you would become an educator because schools are not available for people. So you learn your parents are like whatever they do.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way that also contributed to this lineage thing, like, hereditary thing. And and so all this like stuff, society getting to extreme and culminated with the British coming and kind of extracting all the wealth from us, and everything acted together. So by the time British left, we have a really dirt poor country with no natural resources and a population of 98% who can't read or write. So even if we make a law, people can't read or write. Our first step is to educate our people. And they did a pretty good job. They could have always done a better job.
Mm-hmm.
But for example, Israel started in 1947. They did a tremendous job. But the thing for them is it's a more of a homogeneous with all the problems they had. The advantage they had is it was a more homogeneous population, and most of them are educated.
Mm-hmm.
We started with a population that is like you have every religion there is, and we are all divided into these clans of castes, and there is really no rule or basis for it anymore. Some castes you don't even know what the fuck they do. They're just
Yeah.
there, like somehow they came up. And 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 now, even now, the politicians, how they think. They want groups. They would rather deal with groups of people than individual people, right? Even in America, that's what we do, liberals and conservatives. and
Yeah.
and there it's like you're a ready caste. We will give you these benefits.